There's been a lot of rank bulls like this in history. Take a look at this. It's an explosion as soon as the gate starts to even crack open. Big kick, rolls that hind end around, and then just drops, jerks on the guy's riding arm so much that it always wants to whip. Look at the vertical right there, and then break over and rip it back down to the ground. That bull right there is as athletic as anything I've ever seen. Look at this kick. Man, I mean, it's just incredible.
And man, this second, look at that right there. Drops real low in the back end, gets his upper body there.
Whew, okay. Just kind of making it up as we go here. Get back in the center of the screen. There we go. Book review. I know you're excited. Well, let's just jump right into it. The Hunger Games. Suzanne Collins. Most of you saw the movie. I did not. Maybe I will someday. We'll see. But I read the book. I've looked. The book was at Salvation Armory for like 30 cents. I passed over it a few times, but I had a couple of friends who do a lot of reading, and they believe that is the best book they've ever read. Like, okay, next time I see it, I'll buy it. Now, I'm new to fiction. I've been reading fiction for about 7 or 8 months. Before that, I always read nonfiction. I thought fiction was a waste of time. But at this stage of the game, when I read history, it ticks me off. So I jump into fiction. So I'll read fiction. My dad has a big library of stuff. I said, okay, I got all these books available to me. I'll read these. And I've enjoyed it. I've actually gotten something out of it. But typically when I read a book, there's a couple things I'm doing. One, I'm looking to be entertained. Okay. Some people, it's an escape for some people, like watching television or whatever. But I'm looking to be entertained. I'm also looking at the mechanics of it. I like how certain people have a style, or how they approach certain things. I watch a lot of authors on YouTube critique their own style, this kind of stuff. I really enjoy that. And so when like Cormac McCarthy, I was not looking forward to reading The Road. It's just the one I chose. So I heard he had a certain kind of style, so I wanted to see his kind of style or read it, and so I read The Road. Otherwise, I wouldn't have read it. It just wasn't my thing. Another thing I look for besides just entertainment is I usually I'll give a book about 25 or 30 pages at the most. If you do not have me compelled to want to see where the plot is going, where the story is going, or have an interest, just in 30 pages, you should have a question going on. Okay, what's this about? This event happened. Now they got to figure it out. That might draw me to the book, or the protagonist. Either I relate to your hero, or I sympathize with your hero. I want to see what happens for him, or I'm empathetic, whatever. There's something that pulls me to this book that has me want to continue reading it and finish it. And I'm always curious what each book, when I open it up and I get started, at some point, I know I'm going to finish this one. And I'm okay. Why? Why am I saying that? Why am I thinking that? And I always try to break that down. I just find it interesting how some people. I read a book, The Martian. Same as a movie, but I read the book, and the opening line got me wrapped up in it. The book wasn't so. It was okay. It took a long time to read, but I knew why I got hooked up into it. So the guy hooked me in the beginning. Okay. So there's a lot. I'm not just reading for entertainment. I'm reading. I tried to break down how they've written it, why they've written it that way, or why it appeals to me. I can tell you why certain books won't appeal to me. Where'd it go? Anyhow, the book, The Hunger Games. I'm not going to talk about all the symbolism You can pull a lot of stuff out of this book and say, oh, look, we've done something similar in the past. Maybe this will happen in the future. And all the... there's a lot of parallels in this book with the life that we're living. There's a lot of things going on that could be relate to this book, the story of the Hunger Games. Okay? But that's not what I'm talking about. It's all there. I mean, it's very interesting. The biggest point I got is how she explains how the Capitol was always trying to keep the people, them, divided. And we see that today. But what I really enjoyed about this book is the way she wrote it. Okay, when I first started reading the book, in about 4 or 5, 6 pages, I knew I was going to finish it. But she's very efficient as a writer. Okay, the book is only like 380 pages long. I don't know how many words there are in it, but it's 380 pages. And I would have to say, I have some other favorite authors that if they were to write her book, the same story, it would have taken them 600 pages. Okay, it would have taken them more words to pull the story off than what this lady did here. If you took, I like this guy here. He brings a lot of weather and stuff like that. He uses the weather and the color of the sky and all that to get you, this is James Lee Burke, get you into the mood of the scene he's trying to create. She don't do any of that. Okay? Not necessary for the style of writing. Now, you could take a lot of sentences out of this book, full sentences out of here, and never really lose the plot or the story. You might even, and I'm not knocking this. I love the way this guy writes. This is one of my favorites. This is a Dave Robichaux novel series. Anyhow, you might even be able to tear a page or two out of this book and still enjoy reading the book. You pull a few sentences out of here, this thing comes apart. I'm not knocking this book, but she does not waste a word, does not waste a sentence. Every word in this book is pushing the plot or moving the story along. That's incredible. Not a lot of authors can say that. And that impressed me. Like I said, there's all kinds of symbolism in it. There's all kinds of, you can't read this book without thinking, hey, this could be happening, or this aspect, or whatever, but you can look at society. She has a real, they call it the Capitol, the people at the Capitol, who were the, you could actually look at this in a sense of a type of reconstruction, like after the Civil War. All kinds of things. You get all kinds of things, side angle stuff off this book. It's really interesting. But the story itself was compelling. You wanted to finish it. But it was a good book. I know a lot of people here on YouTube talked about it from a prepper perspective kind of thing. And I didn't know what any of you were talking about because I didn't see the movie or read the book. But I read the book. But it's a good read. It's very entertaining. And it's not... it's a good read. I had another book here. It's the girl with the red dragon tattoo or something like that. A Norwegian guy or something wrote it. Great book. Same friends. Oh, greatest book they ever read. I got 30 pages into it and I quit. Because it just went on and on. And he was building his foundation for this book by bringing these people and all about them and all this kind of thing. We never got to the plot or the story. I just finally gave up. I said, I'd rather read this book. Now as a people, especially Westerners, we're a little more short attention span. We want these things, quicker and that, and I get that. I fall prey to that. But I don't mind a 1,000-page book. But don't slow the plot or the story down. We got to keep this thing moving. What this lady does in this book, keeping the story and the plot going, I say it's amazing because a lot of other authors, I don't think, can pull it off. That's what impressed me about the book. This thing is lean and mean and entertaining. Okay, very suspenseful. It's got all the goodies to it. But if you haven't read it, like I said, I don't know how it compares to the movie. I've not seen the movie. Yeah, maybe I want to know. If I find it at the Dollar Barrel or something, I'll buy it or whatever. But other than that, it's a good book. It's 100 Games. Susan Collins. I've already ordered the second one. I guess it's a trilogy. Yeah, it kind of has an end that drops you. Okay, boom, you got to read the rest of the next book. So, but there's closure in it and everything. Anyhow, The Hunger Games is a pretty good read. Check it out. Even if it's just to see this lady's writing style, I don't think you get to get a lot of this. A lot of these authors today have a page minimum. They got to be 450 pages or. And they say they don't, but there's quotas and stuff they got to deal with. So they might have a story that's really a 300-page novel that they need to push to 450 or something like that. You get the idea. And there's a couple of big authors that I read that gosh, if you could pull 100 pages out of this thing, it'd be easy to read. But I think that's a little quota thing they're doing, in my opinion. It could be conspiracy theory or whatever. Anyhow, love you. God bless. Read a book.